Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Bottom Bins podcast. My name's Connor Richards, here with both of my co-hosts, Oren Dara and Connor Dorman. How are we, boys?
I'm all good. Connor, how are you?
Can't complain.
Very
Connor?
good, lad. United win, so all good.
Always happy when United are in the win column. We are three journalism students, master's journalism students of Ulster University in Coleraine. We are massive football enthusiasts. You can find us normally in the canteen in Coleraine,
with
talking with our paninis, talking dross about football. And we just thought, you know what, may as well get some exposure out there, get a podcast started, and really just see how we get on from there. So, yeah, that's us. Boys, anything else to add to that? Or
Yeah, well, we decided to do this podcast because we always talk our football opinions to each other, and as journalism students, we need to be comfortable in front of a camera and behind a microphone, so this helps us do both.
Yeah, lads, just excited to start it, and I think it'll be a good crack. Hopefully,
Definitely.
talk about football.
well,
So we hope
Happy
anybody that's listening, we do hope you enjoy.
So we're going to start with game one of the weekend then. Well, to us three Man United supporters, it's the only game this weekend. Manchester United faced West Ham United yesterday in the Premier League. It was at Old Trafford, sellout crowd. What's the general thoughts, boys? How are we feeling after that?
I'm buzzing, to be honest. Man United win, it's always good.
Yeah, it's a good win. West Ham, always difficult opponent. I think I've seen something that was like the last 4 times at home we've beat them, it's been 1-0. So it's always tight affair. But it was edgy at the end of the game, boys. Like
Definitely. But look, Eric Ten Hag's building something. We can see that as fans, and hopefully general football fans can see that themselves.
Yeah.
There just seems to be a different mentality at United at the minute. It doesn't look like teams want to face United at the minute, and that hasn't happened in years, boys.
Well, Old Trafford, you can say, is definitely, it has the fortress feeling coming back again. I think, boys, if we look through United's team yesterday, 1 to 11, a number of standout performers that have really been performing these last number of weeks. I'm going to key in on a couple of boys here, and I want to get your opinions here, lads. Number one, first person that I want to talk about here hasn't made the provisional 55-man squad
Disgrace.
for the Spanish team at the World Cup, and that's David De Gea.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, lads?
Oh,
it's just ridiculous. Like top keeper, it's been Spanish keeper for years, and just the manager just hasn't taken a liking to him.
Yeah.
I've seen great improvements in De Gea this year, especially coming out of the area. Seen yesterday, I think it was Benrahma nearly got in, but he was out. He was ready to go because previously it'd been a bit.
Previously, I was Benrahma's ball all day,
and he was
we
in.
all know that.
He got in behind. I think it was Harry Maguire, but he got in behind and he had a good chance. But De Gea has this here, lads. Shot stopping ability can never be questioned.
Yeah.
He's one of the best, I think, in the world.
Yeah.
It's just, his passing, which has been a great improvement as well.
Yeah.
And it's just coming out for the crossing as well.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he's not coming out. So then boys know that. So sometimes it's not a bad thing. They can just, they know. He's not going to get confused because I think there's other games during the week. I think it was a Tottenham game where the goalkeeper came out and just, the Bournemouth keeper, and he just didn't get it.
Yeah.
But then somebody kind of left it. That can happen.
Yeah.
So.
Look, I don't understand it personally. Over the last 3.5 years, I'll be the first to admit I criticised De Gea massively. I thought he was the first person I wanted out of Manchester United. And it wasn't for his shot stopping ability, like you said, but as an overall goalkeeper, I just didn't think he was good enough for Man United. Mm-hmm. But I've definitely changed my opinion this season. Eric Ten Hag's obviously done something with him. The goalkeeping coach has done something with him. He's, as you said, his distribution's better. He's coming out for the ball. We never seen that. Yeah. I still think he lacks coming out for crosses, especially corners and stuff like that. I'm not one to judge De Gea anymore. Do you know what I mean? He's fantastic. But for 55-man provisional squad, he's picked Kepa, David Raya of Brentford, and Robert Sanchez of Brighton ahead of De Gea. I'm not too sure who the other 2 goalkeepers, but I'm pretty sure there's 5 goalkeepers.
It's Unai Simon of Athletic Club is one of them.
Yeah.
And look, he's a fantastic goalkeeper. Yeah. He has played a lot of football for Spain recently. Very, very good goalkeeper. He's actually one of the names being linked to Man United at the minute. In lieu, in case De Gea doesn't get the contract renewal, which, in my opinion, look, I think if anybody deserves a contract at the club, it's De Gea.
Yeah.
He stayed loyal. Yes, okay, we had the broken
fax machine.
the broken
Fax
fax machine. Yeah. But ultimately, he has stayed loyal to Man United. He's openly come out now and said that if he could retire at Man United, he would. And look, I can think of a few great goalkeepers that retired at Manchester United, Edwin van der Sar being one of them.
Yeah.
And look, by no means am I saying that De Gea and van der Sar are up there with one another.
Oh, well, they definitely are.
Well,
they have
look,
to be. They have to be.
I think ultimately trophies would weigh in favour
dictate
of
that,
Van der Sar, definitely.
Yeah.
But in terms of goalkeeping ability, I think they're pretty much of a muchness, really.
Well, yeah.
You know, you'd be happy to take either or.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Just one last point about De Gea. I think he's a good leader as well.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
even when we were losing last year, he was the first one out.
First one in the interviews. Yeah.
So, and he loves the club, and he's played so many games for us, and I love him as a keeper.
Well, it seems we're all in agreement. He should be in that 55-man squad.
Oh,
Absolutely.
100%, yeah.
Absolutely.
So let's move on. Let's go to Marcus Rashford. 100 goals for
The
Man United.
Centurion.
The
The
Centurion
Centurion.
from Manchester United. Apologies, Marcus Rashford. What do we think, boys? What a goal last night, by the way. Ericsson, what a cross.
Yeah. Look, you've known for a long time. Marcus Rashford is my favourite footballer on the planet. I love everything that man does.
Yeah.
I was so happy for him. When he got the 2 goals against Liverpool, when he got the goal against Liverpool and then the 2 goals against Arsenal, I was just over the moon for Rashford. I think he really did have his critics, and deservedly so, last season. The performances just weren't good enough on the pitch. And he said it in an interview after the game last night. You know, he opened up a little bit about his mental health struggles. Marcus Rashford is a strange individual footballer to look at. Marcus Rashford is in the public domain more than most footballers. He is charitable. He has worked with the government. He has worked against the government. He is not just... he's more than a footballer, is basically what I'm trying to say. And a lot of people had the opinion that last season, maybe those off-the-pitch actions distracted from his on-the-pitch actions. But I'm just glad to see that he's got a manager that believes in him, who was so excited to work with him. We had those links with PSG over the summer, and Ten Hag shut them down straight away. He was like, no, Marcus Rashford is the striker that I want to work with. And I find it interesting that he named him striker as opposed to winger. Yeah. I'm just delighted for Rashford at the minute. I'm glad to see him back on scoring form, back in assisting form. Yeah. And again, I think it would be incredibly harsh to leave Rashford out of a World Cup squad.
Well, look, I've got a stat here in front of me. Marcus Rashford, 100 goals and 60 assists in 318 Man United appearances. That's a goal contribution every 0.7 games. That's unheard of, especially for the form last season, boys. That's incredible.
Yeah. Look, Rashford has had lulls in his career at United and has gone big periods without scoring or contributing. But the one thing you would say is when Rashford gets going and puts a run of form together, I don't think there's many wingers, strikers, forwards, whatever you want to name them as. I don't think there's many better in the league, to be honest. He has attributes that a lot of top players in modern day football have. He is electric. He's rapid. He has the skills as well. You know, it wasn't too long ago that he was elasticoing around people, rouletting people. And the one thing he has that I think a lot of strikers lack today in modern football, wicked shot power.
Yeah.
That man can hit a ball harder than most.
He can.
I think the point you're making as well about Ten Hag, the confidence, because when Marcus Rashford is confident, as you say, he's an unbelievable player. But as he said in an interview yesterday, he says that's the biggest difference for the last season. Often wasn't in the right headspace. So if he gets in the right headspace, confidence going, he's probably our best attacker.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
I know Ronaldo's there.
Yeah.
But I think Rashford is the man, and I know that during the summer you were saying as well, PSG were in 100 million, I think it was a bit less maybe. Some fans were thinking maybe we should take it, but as we've seen as United supporters, having the money doesn't mean you're going to replace that, because we have had some poor signings over the years.
Absolutely.
So, you know,
Well, I got to be honest, whenever that offer came in, or the reported offer came in, I said get him out. I thought we should have took the money. And I'll be the first to admit that.
I see your
I'm
point
glad we
there,
didn't.
definitely. But
I'm definitely glad we didn't.
you know, it's especially today's age. Like Anthony went for about 80 million
Yeah.
there. Like Rashford's a young player. He's come through the youth setup. You know, he's a very good player. and he just needs the confidence. And Ten Hag hopefully can take him on to the next level, because previously with United as well, you have to think changing into the managers and different situations like that. But hopefully he can kick on from here and be a top player.
Well, look,
Definitely.
let's talk about West Ham.
Yeah.
What's going on? David Moyes, is there something wrong here? Let's look at last season. At this stage of the season, last season, they had 23 points in comparison to this season, where they've only 14. Look, they played well yesterday at Old Trafford. They did.
Yeah.
But what's going on?
I found West Ham yesterday a bit one-dimensional. They kind of just crossing the ball, they're just looking set pieces. Benrahma's been very good for them this year. I've seen a stat as well. David Moyes has never won an away game at Man United, and that's 16 games. He does struggle against the big teams.
Yeah.
They've definitely not been as good recently. I was like, it's tough to know what's really going on. They brought in that new striker,
Scamacca.
Yeah. I thought he was very
It wasn't a great
quiet
performance
yesterday. You know,
yesterday,
he wasn't great, but.
Yeah.
You would be if you were marked by the butcher.
No, the butcher was
No,
fantastic.
that's the thing as well
This-
about Man United. I think West Ham, they played okay, but
Yeah.
defensively Man United were superb.
Yeah.
You know, you had players like Dallo, Martinez.
What a step
Maguire.
up from Dallo this season, by the way, boys.
Sorry, just honourable mention to the transformation of Luke Shaw's
Yeah,
career.
fantastic.
Where
Unbelievable.
did that come from?
Well,
World Cup's coming up. That's where it
that's it.
came from.
See-
Putting himself in the shop window.
Yeah, that's the thing with Luke Shaw as well. The year of the Euros, he was unbelievable.
Phenomenal.
So I do not know what happened. He's dipped, but he's back.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the competition. Maybe,
Well, let's hope so.
you know,
Malacia is a good wee
Malacia's
player.
good.
Let's hope it is a competition.
Can I say one thing just on West Ham?
Go for it.
So a couple of years ago, West Ham were such a threat in the opposition box. And you look at the height of the West Ham players, you've Souček, Declan Rice,
Yeah,
Craig
Scamacca
Dawson,
himself.
Scamacca,
Yeah.
massive. Even, and look, I know Antonio's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's always a danger.
Zuma as well, yeah.
Zuma too, always dangers from set pieces. Their delivery yesterday was abysmal.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely abysmal. They don't. I've heard for years people rave and rant about Jared Bowen. And look, Jared Bowen is a good footballer. He is a good footballer. But you know, like people say, oh, about Bowen should be in the England squad. Bowen's this and Bowen's that. Like, I think Bowen's a competent Premier League footballer.
Yeah.
But he's not the creative spark that West Ham need. Paqueta's come in, hasn't really looked like he's going to kick them on any. And yes, it's absolutely early days. He needs time to settle because he is a talent, I believe. But they need to get firing quickly, or they could really, really find themselves in trouble very, very quickly.
Well, Jared Bowen, he was picked in the last England squad by Gareth Southgate. Will he be picked for the World Cup?
I could see him being in the 55-man provisional squad.
Yeah.
Whether he goes to the World Cup or not, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't think he's good enough to be in a World Cup squad. Like, if you're in the tunnel and you're Brazil and you're facing England and you look across and you see Neymar on the back of the jersey, you see Anthony on the back of the jersey, Casemiro, Thiago Silva, proper winners, and some of the world's best. And if I'm come out and I'm saying Mason Mount and Jared Bowen, I just don't know. No.
I do think with West
understand.
Ham though is they've kind of overachieved. So the last 2 years are in European football again this year, Europa League, which is difficult as well. You know, with the big squad, it's okay for Man United maybe, but West Ham, I think they have overachieved. But I think they will improve throughout the season, as you said. Paqueta, they got that the new player yesterday. Was it Downs or
Downs?
he was playing. Scamacca. So I think West Ham can improve, but we'll have to just wait and see.
Well, look, they've got, as you say, they're in the Conference League.
Yeah.
I don't
Conference
see a reason why West Ham shouldn't compete for that trophy.
Well, I think it comes down to what they're doing in the league, to be honest. Look, nobody wants to play on a Thursday night.
Yeah.
No matter what European competition it is, nobody wants to play on a Thursday night.
Well, you say that. That's just as Man United fans were saying that. I'd say West Ham, being in Europe the last 3 years, That's fantastic.
No,
That's
that's-
No,
that's
look,
phenomenal.
sorry, I don't mean it. I don't
You
mean
mean
it as
in
in
the player aspect?
I mean as in the player
Yes,
aspect.
of course,
No
of
player
course.
wants to play on a Thursday and then play on a Sunday.
Yes.
It's too short of a rest,
Yeah.
especially if you're coming home, say the Thursday night or the Friday morning.
Yeah.
You're training on maybe the Friday night, the Saturday morning, then having to play a match on the Sunday.
Yeah, especially with the
grueling.
World Cup as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
There's been so many games. It's
Yeah.
just so constant. So
Do you want to move on to the Arsenal and Forest game?
yeah.
So we're talking top of the table, bottom of the table. Arsenal 5-star display. Connor, what do you think?
It pains me to say this. Arsenal are a good side.
Are they the real deal?
Look at who they've beaten this season.
Yeah,
They've beaten Liverpool.
yeah,
And I don't care what anybody says. Look, yes, Liverpool are in bad form. If you beat a side like Liverpool, you can't not be legitimate. You can't not be. They are a top side. Now, the only thing I would say about Arsenal is they have a severe lack of depth. And I think later on in the season that's maybe going to hurt them a bit. Now, are they legitimate title contenders? After 13 games, you probably have to say so, yeah. But 13 games isn't enough to judge a team by. Once we're in the 19th, the 20th, the 21st sort of games of the Premier League, when injuries start to crop up,
that's it.
and things maybe don't go their way, refereeing decisions don't go their way, will they be the same side? Because look, ultimately they're competing with Manchester City this season. It's as simple as that. And Man City are so far and away the best team in Europe. It's hard to compete on that front.
Yeah.
But Arsenal are doing it, and they're a good side. They play good, attractive football. I think Arteta is a fantastic coach. A lot of people called for his head.
Yeah.
This time last year. You need to give managers time.
definitely.
Give them time. Let them implement their philosophy. Let them pick their best 11. Let them get the transfers in that they need. This is why I think Man United need to take the Arsenal blueprint and do the exact same thing.
It's especially with the young players as well. There's so many young players in the squad.
Saka 23, Martinelli 22, Jesus is only 25.
Yeah.
Reece Nelson came on there yesterday.
Reece
Exactly.
Nelson, come on, and Reece Nelson. That was a guy that was last season in the Eredivisie.
I know.
Who expected that? Who expected him to come on and get 2 goals and an assist? Change the game.
They're just on a run of form, and they're just so confident.
Yeah.
As you say, if they start picking up injuries or things start to go wrong, drop points, then that's where we always question Arsenal, because last year when they went for the top 4, they crumbled. Let's be honest, lads. They had it in their hands. They dropped. The funny thing was they lost to Brighton at home, Southampton, and then they went and beat Chelsea, West Ham.
Yeah, they beat Chelsea 3-0 away, if I can remember rightly.
And then they lost to Spurs, and just collapsed. And they still had it in their own hands. Newcastle. I know it's a tough game, especially Newcastle very good this season, but they collapsed, and I think it was the experience. But
Well, tell me this, Connor.
Yeah.
World Cup's coming up.
Yeah.
Yeah. All these players are playing probably 3 games a week. At the top clubs are playing 3 games a week.
100%. Yeah.
This World Cup's coming up. They have no real rest. They're back at Boxing Day games. Arsenal, are they 1 or 2 injuries away from collapsing again, do you think?
I don't think they would collapse. I do think, I just said, I know it's not even that crazy, they're top of the league, but I think definitely they're getting top 4. Because I think they're just such a good young squad, good manager, but I don't think title, not a chance. I think Man City, far and away. I think Liverpool being off it this year makes Arsenal stand out a bit more.
Yeah, agreed.
Really,
it's kind of
only a third of the season in.
The only thing about Arsenal as well is they've been getting the results, but I know they beat Liverpool, and that's a good result, but I seen them against Southampton, and they should have had them away first half, and they kind of you just knew they were going to drop points there, while with City, they just kill teams off.
Yeah.
So that will be it too. I do think definitely top 4.
Well, look, we've went from the top of the league. Let's go to the bottom. Are Forest legitimate contenders to go down this season?
100%.
Yeah, I think they have to be.
They're one of the worst teams I've seen this season, to
Yeah.
be honest. They don't create enough. They don't score enough goals. I know they beat Liverpool last week, but Liverpool were awful. And
it seems as though anybody can pick up points at Liverpool at the minute.
I thought and Van Dijk could have had a hat-trick last week, even from the set pieces. Arsenal, they're not going to be judged in this game, because Arsenal away for any opponent is a tough game.
Yeah.
It's going to be the teams around them, but I think the signings as well.
22 new signings,
22
Connor.
new signings, which is
You would think Forest were playing FIFA career mode.
I know.
Exactly.
And the funny thing was,
how does a team gel?
oh,
22 new signings.
The thing about it was,
That's 2 full
I
squads.
know the reason though I think they did that make that much signings was because there's so many players on loan
Yes.
the previous season, and I think it was kind of like a shock that they went up because
They were near
the they were near the bottom.
massively.
They were near the bottom of the league at
Yeah.
the start,
Yeah.
and then suddenly they started picking up form, and they're
That was when Cooper came in. And speaking of Cooper, new 5-year contract. Was it the right decision, Connor?
I like it. I like the clubs are now backing managers. I really, really do. I think, in my head, I think Forest have maybe already resigned themselves to knowing that they're going down. Yes, we're only a third in. There's still plenty of points to be played for, but I imagine that they went on this spending spree. They have thought to themselves, right, well, if we go down, there are a number of sellable assets here that we can recoup some money from, and we're still going to have the guts of a really strong squad to go into the championship with. I think they've already resigned themselves to going down.
Okay.
And I think they've backed Cooper because they believe Cooper's the man to take them back down to the championship, bring them straight back up again, and then they can look at that window in 2 years' time and go, okay, this is where we start to establish ourselves. We're going to try and keep ourselves in the Premier League. But I would say, as for this season, you can't sign 22 players and expect them to come in and keep you in the Premiership.
It felt like it came too early for them to go up,
Far too early.
but then you just have to go up, you know.
Well, look, I seen something this morning. Bryce Samba, he saved 3 penalties in the semi-final of the playoff last year.
Yeah.
Kept a clean sheet in the playoff final. He left Forest, and he's went to Lens, RC Lens in the Ligue 1. In his first 10 games, he's kept 7 clean sheets, and they're second in the league.
Yeah.
Was that a mistake? Look, Dean Henderson's went in. He's been good in spells, but he hasn't been consistent.
I think that was out of their hands though. I think he said, he didn't want to stay, and there's nothing you can do. He wanted to go back. They've got Dean Henderson in, who's, I'm not gonna lie, I love the hair, but when he came in, I was like, okay, maybe he's gonna come for the crosses, the passing. But I was actually very disappointed in him. I didn't think he was gonna be. I thought he was gonna be a better player, but I don't. With Forest, I don't think it's Dean Henderson's fault, but I think Sama just won away. So there's nothing you can do.
So
their hands.
You're both in agreement. Forest likely to go down.
Yeah. I would. If Forest don't finish slap bang bottom of the Premier League,
I'd be shocked too.
yeah, I'd be very shocked.
Moving on. Manchester City versus Leicester. Richie, what do you think?
City have looked so good in recent weeks.
Yeah.
You know, they were going to have a game where they were going to have to grind out a result.
Yeah.
Leicester was that game.
Yeah.
Leicester really controlled the game. I was shocked at how well Leicester controlled the game, to be honest.
Maddison was phenomenal.
Phenomenal. And he has been this year.
Yeah.
But when you have a player like Kevin De Bruyne, a match winner, anything can happen.
Yeah.
And he just showed it. His class is,
What a goal, boys.
just impeccable. A great player.
Yeah.
Who strapped his team on his back and said, you know what, I'll carry us to the 3 points today. And
Yeah.
that's exactly what he did.
Yeah.
Well, Connor, what do you think? Kevin De Bruyne, is he the greatest Premier League midfielder ever?
That's a great question, lads.
He has to be in the debate, surely.
He's definitely in the debate already.
Well, who would we say is in the debate? De Bruyne, Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard.
Yeah. I think you could you could say Keane Vieira.
Yeah.
as well.
Is it, are you going attacking?
There's plenty.
Or?
Well, let's go by stats, okay?
Yeah.
So I have De Bruyne has 222 appearances in the Premier League. He has 60 goals and 95 assists. Scholes, 499 appearances, 107 goals and 55 assists. Gerrard, 504 appearances, 120 goals and 92 assists. And Lampard, 609 appearances, 177 goals and 102 assists. Look, stats aren't everything. We know that.
Yeah.
But surely De Bruyne is up there, boys.
I think if we're talking about the eye test, passing the eye test, Scholes and De Bruyne are probably the top 2 on that list.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not just saying that as a Man United fan, but like Scholes and De Bruyne can play passes that other people just A, weren't seeing, and B, can't execute.
Can't execute, yeah.
They're in a class of their own in terms of passing ability. And look, I know Gerrard and Lampard could ping 40-yard balls across the pitch and make it look like it was the easiest thing on the planet. But there was just something about Scholes and De Bruyne, the way they do it. In terms of a goal-scoring midfielder, I mean, is he as good a goal scorer as Lampard? I don't know. I think Lampard sort of holds that trophy up quite highly. He was the ultimate goal getting midfielder.
Yeah.
I think there was a season where he finished with over 20 Premier League goals, or consecutive seasons where he finished.
Consistently, he was scoring 20 goals.
Yeah.
I think it was like something like 5 or 6 years in a row.
Yeah, that's a midfielder. That man was playing centre mid.
Yeah.
You know, in a
He was very
in a
attacking,
4-4-2.
But he was very attacking. He was always in the box.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. That's why I like Gerrard. I know I don't like him because I'm a United fan, but as a player, just all around, I just thought he was unbelievable because it was just like both going forward and defensively. People underrate how good, especially like even that like his last few years, played that CDM role and that title when the team ended the passing and all he could do. I just felt like Lampard was just in a far better team. De Bruyne is in a far better team. Like Gerrard kind of had to do it. I know Scholes, unbelievable player, but he was in a great team as well. What Gerrard had to do for that Liverpool side was just like incredible. He kind of carried it. Like
He did, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Even if you look at the year they nearly won the league as well. I think it was 09 or something. No, the 9-1. I think it was United. They went head to head. The slip. Can't forget the slip. The 9-1. He was unbelievable with Torres, and then Suarez, and then he had Xavi Alonso there at one point. They were like one of the best midfields in the league.
Yeah.
He lost him. I just think if Gerrard played in a team like Man City, or he definitely have got more goals, more assists. But De Bruyne definitely up there, boys. He has to be.
Like if we're just using those four as the case study,
Yeah.
like De Bruyne's numbers are fairly similar in a lot less games.
Yeah.
I know that's
He's playing himself into the conversation, definitely.
Yeah, look, when all's said and done, and Kevin De Bruyne either retires at Man City or decides I'm going to move on to something else, new challenge.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any way you can't look at him as in that top bracket of Premier League midfielders.
and the amount of titles he'll have as well.
Exactly, and look, generations define. You know, obviously, people in our generation are gonna focus on the likes of Scholes,
The older generation.
Gerrard,
Yeah.
exactly.
And it's easier to, because in my opinion, Fernandinho's one of the best holding midfielders
oh,
the league's
yeah.
ever seen.
Oh,
yeah,
definitely.
oh, absolutely,
Unbelievable.
absolutely. You know, but I think these boys are now starting to creep into the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard David Silva's name mentioned quite a few times in recent years for that sort of greatest midfielder conversation.
His stats are great too.
Same as,
Very
Yaya
good stats.
Toure,
Yeah.
guys like that there. And I'm glad that these boys are being talked about because, we're
They deserve it.
we're very lucky. You know, we have been blessed with some of the players that we get
Bruno,
to watch.
boys, Bruno.
Um,
No, wait, joking.
we'll get there maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe if he could keep the ball, that would be nice.
Well, look, City won 1-0.
Yeah.
Brendan Rodgers. That's another loss for Leicester. What do we think's going to happen there?
I don't think they're going to sack him.
No, I think they'll keep him on. What he had done the previous years as well.
FA Cup,
He
Community
should-
Shield.
There's one of them years they should have definitely got in the Champions League.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Probably
how they
2
didn't.
years they should have definitely got
there
in the
was
Champions
definitely
League.
one year. United caught them.
Yeah, we spoiled the party.
Yeah,
one
we
year.
spoiled the party, we just went on an absolute tear. But no, they'll definitely not sack him because they picked up a few points there previously. That's City's tough game. I thought City weren't that great, lads. Like, to be honest, they still. I know they're missing Haaland, but I thought the last 20 minutes. I seen Pep said to Madison, "Oh, what happened in the first 75?" Because the last 15, he was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
And Leicester they actually have a very good squad. Tielemans, Madison, Vardy.
Yeah.
Minus the forward line.
Yeah.
Dag, he's okay. Like,
Harvey Barnes isn't good enough.
Barnes, do you not think so?
No. I watched that game the other day and I thought Barnes was taking far too many shots.
yeah.
Barnes can turn it on when he wants
And,
to.
oh,
though.
don't get me wrong. I
I'd
know
agree
he can,
with you, though.
but I would say Jarrod Bowen could do the exact same thing.
But I agree with you.
yeah, okay,
With
fair
Barnes,
enough.
it's the distribution.
Yeah.
He doesn't look up.
He needs to pass.
Yeah. There was opportunities
Yeah.
to get it in the box.
100%.
Look, Daka's not clinical enough.
No.
Vardy's past his best, long past his best.
Ian Nacho.
Vardy maybe should have thought about in the summer because he's just past it, to be
Yeah.
honest. He just doesn't look
But
the same player.
Leicester will be fine though. They'll definitely stay up. I just
Think
cannot
so?
Can't see they'll go down.
Well,
Too good.
Rodgers has a 45.9 win percentage.
Yeah.
And is that more than any other Leicester manager?
It's
up there.
that was he has the highest win percentage of any Leicester manager in the Premier League era, I think.
That's a stat in them
I
on
think.
itself.
And you need to remember that one of the managers in the Premier League era
Won the Premier League.
The thing as well is Danny Ward was definitely the most dodgy player in that team, but he seems to have improved. He kept, I think it was 3 clean sheets in a row.
Fair play to him.
And
He was
during
thrown in
that
the deep
game-
end.
Oh yeah.
Thrown in the
game-
deep end.
Yeah,
Fair
during
play
that
to him.
game.
Oh, my fantasy loved him.
Well, we'll be talking about that later.
He's sitting on my bench. That was great. No, but Danny Ward is impressed, and the new signing, the new centre back,
Fias.
Fias, he has been.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, boys. I'm not going to lie.
I watched the game at the weekend and he's very impressive.
He's kind of like a Fofana. You know, he was just plucked from a random team.
Yeah.
Like as Roger
And
said,
it turns out he was good.
Yeah, as Roger said, they were lucky not to at least get a point out of that.
Yeah.
I thought they were. I know City dominated possession. They're going to do that against every team, but I think Leicester they'll definitely not be in the relegation battle.
Well, let's get a final verdict. Should Rodgers be sacked? Yes or no, Richie?
No.
Connor, and I don't think so either. For what he's done for the club,
Yes.
FA Cup, Community Shield, he speaks for himself.
Yeah, 100%.
Brighton versus Chelsea. Connor, what do you think?
I was shocked. I seen
Potter against his old club.
I know. I was shocked, lads. I'm not gonna lie. I think they're 2-0 down in 14 minutes, and they're all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
I have, and you boys can back me up on this. I have said Chelsea. I'm not impressed. I thought against United last week, especially, we should have put them away.
Yeah.
But they were kind of shell shocked. 3-0 down. Second half, they improved a lot, but it's too late. 3-1 Havertz got the goal, but too little, too late. But Brighton came out
All guns
just
blazing.
all gun blazing.
They were like demons.
Yeah.
Honestly.
It was like they shocked them, which makes no sense because
Yeah.
they would have known this was coming.
Yeah.
Thiago Silva was all over the place.
Chelsea
can I just say something about Thiago Silva? And it's actually in defence of Thiago Silva. When you are playing beside, say, Chalobah and Cucurella, now this is something that I think Potter is consistently getting wrong at Chelsea. Chelsea have played a back five the last few weeks that has consisted of Pulisic at right wing back, Raheem Sterling at left wing back, and a back three of Chalobah, Silva and Cucurella.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Sterling's average position in the match, he was the highest player forward for Chelsea throughout the 90 minutes. That's your left wing back. That means Cucurella has to push over and cover for him.
Yeah.
Now, in a back three, that's supposed to be easier because you have two other boys beside you that you look to help cover.
Yeah.
Pulisic, who is another attacking player, was the second furthest forward player for Chelsea at the weekend.
Make sense.
Which means Chalobah has to pull across and cover for him. So Thiago Silva is pulled. It doesn't know which way to go because he's being pulled to the right because Chalobah's out of position, which isn't Chalobah's fault. It's Pulisic's.
Mm-hmm.
He's being pulled to the left then because Cucurella's out of position, which isn't his fault because Raheem Sterling's standing in the opposition 6-yard box.
Yeah.
I feel like Silva's been sold.
He's been left out to dry.
Yeah, he's been stitched up big time.
Why is
Kante's
Potter
big
doing
miss.
this? He's never played five at the back in his life.
It's just
Why is he
because
doing
it's
this
because
now?
of what he's come into. You know, that's what they're playing, the five at the back.
At this
I
stage of the
think
season.
it really will be the World Cup is going to be vital. I know a lot of his players will be going to the World Cup,
Yeah.
but I think he will have it. He'll have it tactically fixed. I think Kante is a big miss because he kind of protects. Like even when they went in that Champions League final run, he was unbelievable. Like he was their
But that was 2 years ago.
I know that. I know
Kante's past his. Well, I don't
still,
want to say past.
I
his
still
best,
think
but
he's a good player, but it's just the injuries.
He'll not renew his contract at the end of the season.
No,
No.
he'll be away. He'll be away.
Yeah, he'll. I'd say that Chelsea will look. to
Also,
move him
Potter
away.
has come in and they have a pile of centre backs. So it's kind of like, what are we going to do with these lads?
Yeah.
You know, they bought Fofana, they bought
Is Fofana
Koulibaly.
injured, please?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
injured.
he's injured. Yeah.
Koulibaly, I
Is a stinker.
I don't think he's like.
He is a stinker.
I was going to say in a more like correct way, but I was going to say I just don't rate him. I don't rate him, lads. But yeah, I kind of feel for Potter, but I think top four would be tough for Chelsea now.
Yeah.
Which
Chelsea's
is-
going to struggle. Like,
Yeah.
Kepa came
They
into
need
the
European
squad
football, they
and
need
he was
European.
playing phenomenal. Now he's injured. Edouard Mendy, look, phenomenal goalkeeper. We know he is. But he makes mistakes. There's a mistake in him.
Yeah, the Leeds game earlier in the year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Disaster.
Again, look, we were talking about the modern goalkeeper earlier.
Yeah.
Edouard Mendy's a decent shot stopper,
Mm-hmm.
but the man can't play with the ball at his feet.
Yeah.
You know, I see on social media people are quick to mock De Gea for not being able to play with his feet. He's worse,
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
and he is worse.
Yeah.
So, but you know, he was going to be Player of the Year in was it 2021? He was going to be Player of the Year. Like
The point on that
come
would be,
on.
I think it's just easy to slag United, you know, because we were doing poorly, they were doing
Yeah.
well, but now people are really seeing
Yeah.
Mendy is.
Look, I'm going to say one thing. I hate Chelsea Football Club, and I'm glad to see them in the mud.
Well, let's talk. Let's have one more point on this match. Leandro Trossard. What a player,
Unbelievable.
boys. Come on.
Unbelievable.
Where's he going?
Spurs.
Connor?
I think he just stayed at Brighton.
Do you think so? Yeah, he has to move on to pastures new. 5 goals in his last 5
I know.
games.
He's an unbelievable player. Very underrated. Belgium, he's starting for them. He's
Yeah.
getting on for them. He's a very good player.
Do you think he
Spurs could be a
deserves...
shout though. Spurs could be a shout.
He deserves to move to a bigger club, surely.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, it depends what De Zerbi does with Brighton.
Yeah.
Because Brighton have the foundations there of a really well-coached, well-organised, well-oiled machine. If Brighton are legitimately pushing European spots, yeah, I would agree with Connor. Maybe he does stay. To me, personally, though, he just looks like a tailor-made Conte player. He looks like the type of guy that's going to come in and possibly replace Son in future years, obviously. Well, I mean, at the minute, like Trossard's,
what age is Trossard?
He'd walk in.
What age is he though?
Trossard's 26, I think.
He's in around that.
Which isn't that old in today's game. Like
No.
Spurs could be a shout, yeah.
I don't see why at the World Cup, like especially because Hazard's been really quite poor these last 2 years. I really don't see why Trossard doesn't get his chance at the World Cup.
Oh, of course he will.
Yeah,
of course he will.
I
He's
think
been
we
playing
know-
for Belgium even before this spell of form. Everybody knows he's a good player.
But anytime you like, even as United played Brighton, Trossard's like one of the best players.
Yeah,
very difficult, very good player.
Well, let's move on. Newcastle versus Aston Villa ended 4-0, boys, wasn't it? 4-0.
4-0,
Yeah.
4-0.
Callum Wilson, 2 goals, 1 assist. Great player.
Serious player.
Is he going to the World Cup?
It's tough to say, really. You know, the biggest thing with Wilson, like many top players, is his injury record, and it's just not very stellar. He is, when he's on it, he is on it. I would actually argue, you know, like a lot of people talk about Tony this year, and Tony is an excellent striker. Don't get me wrong, he is an excellent striker, but I think when Wilson's on it, Wilson's far better. I think Wilson's all-round game is far better than the likes of Ings, Tony, Tammy Abraham.
Well, Richie, you told me
Watkins.
earlier that was his first 90 minutes this season.
That's mad.
First full 90. First full 90.
It is.
So it is just keeping him off the injury table, really.
Well, the thing about England as well is with the World Cup, like their options for striker aren't the greatest. Like,
Look, it's like we were saying earlier. You know, the names on the back of the shirts don't exactly instill fear
And also-
in the opposition.
it's
but
true.
they just play the one up top, and you know it's going to be Harry Kane.
Yeah,
But you will need the backup just in case.
definitely.
And with Wilson in form, he has to go.
yeah, I don't think he can really do much better than Wilson, to be honest. Because I think if Rashford goes to the World Cup, he goes as a winger rather than a centre forward. And I think he'll take 2 centre forwards. I think he'll take Kane and 2 others, 2 other centre forwards to the World Cup. And like we all know, he loves Tammy Abraham, even though Abraham's only got 2 goals in the league this season. You know, he's really struggling in Italy at the minute. But I still think like he'll take Abraham, and it'll be one of Tony or Wilson.
That's the thing about Southgate. He has his favourites.
He does.
You know who's going, really. You know, people are like, oh, will Rashford go? Definitely he's going. Sterling, doesn't matter how, Maguire, doesn't matter how they're really playing, they're going. So
Yeah.
I'd agree there. Abraham probably definitely go. Kane, all them boys. But Wilson's definitely in with a good shout.
Oh, yeah.
If he can actually just stay fit for the next few weeks, he probably will get in.
Yeah. Well, look, Newcastle's flying. Almiron
Top team.
playing out of his skin.
Wee Miggy.
Yeah.
He is fantastic.
Ever since Jack.
Jack Grealish.
Jack slagged him. It's just been.
He's playing phenomenal. Newcastle's a top tier side at the moment.
Absolutely.
Eddie Howe has done an absolutely fantastic job.
Look, they're 4th in the league, and they're there on merit.
Yeah.
They have played themselves into that position. Now, Newcastle, yes, there was the controversy of the takeover and the money and where the money was coming from, human rights issues. Yes, I understand all that. But, you know, the money that's come in, they've not spent massive amounts to be where they are. They've just spent wisely.
Yeah.
I think Botman's been a fantastic addition. Matty Targett's been a fantastic addition. Bruno Guimaraes is arguably one of the best midfielders in the league.
Kieran Trippier
Changed
the game.
Oh my God, Kieran Trippier.
Pope as a keeper.
Pope,
yeah,
Pope in it.
fantastic.
What a signing. I think he's like 12 million or something.
Yeah.
The
Unbelievable.
conversion of Joe Linton from a centre forward to a centre mid is nothing
madness.
short of.
And he's playing on the wing.
Yes,
At the moment,
yeah.
and he's playing fantastic.
Yeah,
boys.
you know, Eddie Howe really took a position modifier and
He did.
slapped it on Joe
He
Linton.
definitely
Do you
did.
think they will spend in January?
I think they're going to have to if they want
Yeah.
to. If they have any aspirations of staying in the top 4, which they should do, they're a massive football club. They need to spend in January. Like
As long as he spends it wisely, like you said.
Isaac's been hurt.
Yes.
So Maximin's been hurt a lot
And St.
too.
Maximin's been hurt.
Yeah.
I think if they went and got some decent cover on the wing, you know, you can't really rely on Wilson to stay fit for a full season either. And now that Isaac, their big money signing, is out injured, maybe they need to look about getting another centre forward as well. But the problem with world football is there's such a lack of centre forwards out there.
Yeah.
their backup at the minute would be your boy Wood, and he is not good
No,
enough.
he's not up to scratch.
He's not even like a relegation battle kind of striker. He is not, let alone top four, not a chance, you know. So
Well, let's move on from Newcastle and talk about Villa. Just lost 4-0, but they've just appointed Unai Emery, who's a proven winner. 11 major trophies, including 4 Europa Leagues. Is it a good appointment, Richie?
It's top pedigree. Honestly, we talk about the biggest managers in the world. It's, let's say they're in that S class, that S tier. Well, in A tier, that's where Unai Emery sits. He is a fantastic manager, top pedigree. He's a proven winner. I think one thing that Villa fans are maybe a bit confused on, and I've seen it a lot on social media this week, is a lot of them think they're going to be playing this expansive attacking style of football.
Yeah.
I think they're really in for a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Unai Emery is not the attacking expansive
did they not see him
manager.
at Arsenal?
They mustn't have. Well, they were in the Championship at the time, so no, probably not. He's a winner, but you're not gonna be.
Do you think he's more like a cup manager? I know that's wrong to say.
That Villa team's not competing.
But it's not even in the league.
Doesn't
It's just
matter
like
who's
even at
manager.
Arsenal, their league was a lot of draws.
Yeah.
You know, he's very good for Villarreal in the cups. He won the Europa League. It'd be more like his league. I'd be a bit worried. But as Villa fans, I think they do think we deserve to be up there, at least top 8.
Look,
They've one of the richest owners in the league as well.
look at their
so-
squad.
Look,
boys.
their squad is look. If we're going outside the top 6 and looking at front 3 options
On paper.
that's one of the best front 3s there is.
It's
in the league.
incredible.
Like,
Incredible.
Yeah, Danny Ings is a clinical 20 goal a season in the Premier League striker.
As long as he stays
As he
fit.
stays fit.
Yeah.
It's fitness
Leon
for them, boys.
Bailey is one of the most exciting wingers in world football, and was before his move to
Mm-hmm.
Aston Villa. Then you have the likes of Buendia.
Watkins.
Coutinho, Watkins.
Coutinho's been-
I think Coutinho's days are numbered at Aston Villa, to be honest. I don't think Emery will fancy him. He's not an Emery type player.
Yeah.
Coutinho is very much he's the flash in the pan. He's a bit of skill, bit of trickery, beat the man and produce something phenomenal.
Yeah.
That's not really what Unai Emery goes for. Unai Emery is more rigid, compact, work hard for one another. Yes, his attacking players do have that little bit of flair, but I don't see Coutinho doing the same defensive work. Like, take Danjuma, for example, at Villarreal. Under Emery, his defensive numbers improved substantially. As a striker, he was putting up 3 tackles and interceptions per 90. That's unheard of for a striker.
yeah.
And I don't really see Coutinho doing that same level of dog work.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would say Coutinho's days are maybe up.
Yeah, when you're defensively thinking of it, they're basically like down him on because he's not going to defend.
No.
Yeah.
And that's Emery's game. So
Yeah.
that's not going to happen.
Leeds versus Liverpool. A shock win for Leeds and Jesse Marsh.
Yeah,
2-1.
fully deserved. So I thought
Let's quickly run through it.
What can you say? Liverpool have just been off the boil big time this season. It's really, really weird. It's incredibly weird. Take the game a couple of weeks ago. They deservedly beat Manchester City.
Yeah. How do you go from that, though, to getting beat by Nottingham Forest and then getting beat at home?
I think it's just because
By
you've been so good for
Leeds.
so long. It's just we're just going to turn up here and beat these boys.
Yeah.
And it just didn't happen. The intensity has just dropped. I've seen their running stats are way down. Maybe it's tiredness. It's injuries. A lot of injuries as well. Like Diaz, a big miss. Obviously,
But these are things they should have accounted
yeah,
for.
Mane leaving is Mane's a top player, especially his work rate as well. The defensive, he's underestimated. I think Mane, how
definitely.
good he was. I know Salah, but then Mane was the top scorer, wasn't he? Golden Boot. He was last year. I think he was up there
No,
with
Salah was
No,
last
Salah
year.
and
but he was
Son
up there. Though.
shared
He was
it.
like 20 something goals.
He was
Well, look,
definitely-
he's been up there
I
since
think
he
see-
joined Liverpool.
joined,
He's
yeah,
been
yeah.
fantastic.
But once the African competitions, once both came back,
Yeah.
Mane was on another level. There was talk of him going for I think he came second in the Ballon d'Or
The
race.
Ballon d'Or, yeah.
You know, and I think he could have won it if they had won the Champions League. So losing
That's
a player like
crazy.
that,
He came second.
yeah, he's top lad. He was unbelievable last year.
Jeez, I didn't even know that.
Yeah,
Second.
So
Second, yeah.
I think he's just a massive miss, lads. And Salah just hasn't been at it. I seen during the game, he took on 2 players, beat them, tried to chip the keeper instead of just looking up, giving the right ball. With Liverpool, it's just injuries as well. It's obviously hurt them. Nunez has not hit a form.
Connor, I'm gonna have to
You not using that excuse?
No, look, Liverpool, and I think Liverpool fans would have to agree with me on this. Liverpool for the past number of years have had injury after injury after injury after injury, and I would say Liverpool fans are fed up with the board. And they have to be fed up with the board.
Well, there was a protest at the match the other day.
Well, there has to be. They are spending no money.
But it's to do with it. They have like a structure, because they own like the Boston Red Sox and stuff like that. They have like a structure. They're never going to go away from that. Now they did spend on Nunez, but as you said, they need midfield help, especially. They need
Nunez wasn't the investment that they needed.
Yeah, that was it.
Keeping Mane was the investment that they needed. Keeping that front three together, that was crucial. That was important.
Even still, Nunez didn't have to be the marquee signing. They had Diogo Jota to come into that squad.
Exactly.
Why didn't they get a backup striker like an Origi when they had Origi? Why didn't they get someone like that?
Or why don't you go out and actually buy a midfielder? You know that position that you're severely lacking in.
Yeah.
I can't sit here as a Man United fan and criticise Liverpool's transfer policy, because ours is horrible as well.
Yeah.
But the one thing I would say is, if I was a Liverpool fan, I would just be sick, sore and tired of the same repeating things every season. Liverpool should have more than one Premier League title under Klopp's era.
100%.
And they've been incredibly unlucky, but they've been unlucky because it's the same boys that get injured all the time. And yes, look, it's not those fellas' fault that they get injured, because football's a demanding sport. You're going to get hurt, but it was up to the board, and I think manager has to shoulder a bit of blame as well. You know, they had to get the recruitment right, and the recruitment's been wrong.
Yeah.
I think it is to do with the squad as well. You look at Man City there, they have such a massive squad, and just Liverpool have not invested in that squad, and this is where the injuries happen, and there's nobody to replace them. You know, you have boys like Harvey Elliott in there. I just don't think he's a great player, to be honest.
Well,
he's went into midfield,
he's
and
alright.
He has not performed well. You know, Trent's been... They've no real like backup right back, no left back. If anybody's out of form or not playing well, they're not getting dropped.
Yeah.
You know, Trent's straight back in there. I don't know about Liverpool.
He was that young fella, was it Notto or something you call him?
Yeah.
Plays for Leeds. He come on there at the weekend, and honestly, he killed Trent.
It's just like it's even like, did you see the City game against Liverpool when Trent came on? They tried to consolidate the win, and they were straight down that wing because they knew, let's get at him, and they nearly got a chance out of it. You know, so
look, I heard an interview with Troy Deeney a couple of weeks back, and it was on Ben Foster's podcast, and he said that, you know, every week when they were prepping for a game, their manager at Watford would always have a player to target in the opposition. So he talked about Man United, and he said Fred, because Fred can't play one touch. It's all two touch.
Right, yeah.
But when they played against Liverpool, he said they were always told attack Trent.
Yeah.
Because look, Trent's a generational talent. He is so good on the
see
ball.
the pass he played to Nunez?
Yes.
Unbelievable.
Like, doesn't even have to
how many
think
players
about
could do
it.
that? How
Passing
many
and
players could do
crossing
that?
ability is ridiculous.
It's disgusting.
But why are they not trying him then in midfield? There must be
Look, it's not FIFA.
No,
I know that, but
No,
like there is.
no. I think if he played in a back five,
But then you look at like people like
wing back, he would be a lot better.
But you look at like people like Bale. You're like, it's not FIFA, but he started as like a right or left back, and he ended up in left wing.
I know.
So
It's tough to
That's
say.
Gareth Bale.
I know that, but
it's tough to say.
Somebody had to put him there. You know,
It's tough to
like,
say.
they're-
I don't know why Liverpool don't trial a right wing back of Trent, three at the back of Gomez, Van Dijk, Matip, or Konate, Van Dijk, Matip.
Konate, he's been a bit of a miss this year.
Go Robertson at left wing back, play two midfielders, whoever's fit and available, and you could even play then your normal front three.
Yeah. Well, Trent started as a right winger,
Yeah.
so even try him, as you say, further up the pitch.
I know it's not FIFA, lads, but you try a new position. Like it's just.
I don't think midfield is a position for him. I know his passing ability, and on paper he probably looks like a fucking class midfielder, but I don't think so.
No, midfielders need to have a certain
But that is where Liverpool are the most
awareness.
weak at the minute, though. Is their midfield? It's been.
Yeah, but I don't know if slapping Trent into midfield and then having the
But I think it is as well.
Ramsey
But I think it is. Yeah, that's what I'm saying as well. I don't think they actually have
Like
a
depth,
backup right back
yeah.
where they can be like, right, we'll try somebody here.
And it makes you wonder why they sold Nico Williams, because although Forest have been poor this season, Nico Williams looks like one of the better
And
players.
he's
at
a
Forest.
similar player to like Trent. Like he can get forward as well. He's a good player. I just don't know.
I suppose when you're getting 15-20 million for
Yeah.
him, you sort of have to let him go at that stage.
It's odd, but look, it's just the situation they're in at the minute.
I'm not enjoying it, lads. Seeing Liverpool losing.
Are you not? No. Spurs versus
Liverpool.
Bournemouth. So Bournemouth were 2-0 up against Spurs.
Cruise him too.
Cruising.
Really,
Kiefer
really
Moore.
cruising.
Kiefer Moore, 2 goals.
Brilliant.
They were cruising. Typical Conte, really. Made a couple of changes before the start of the game. And
6 changes?
6 changes from the side.
I think they were looking at that fixture.
And Marseille. I
I
think
think he's
are,
thinking
like,
Champions League. He's thinking, I need to make a...
It's a crucial game.
Yeah.
It's must win.
Massive fixture.
Yeah,
but
must
at the
win.
same time, don't disregard who you're playing
Yeah.
in the league, because it just goes to show you, even a side like Bournemouth can turn you over
I know.
fairly handily.
Yeah.
You know, look, Spurs were definitely a lot better whenever Mora, Dyer, Bentancur come on. Perisic.
Yeah.
They controlled the ball a lot more, and they dictated the play a lot more, but that first 45 minutes, Bournemouth could have been 4 or 5 nil up, really. And they really could have. They created some massive opportunities. And look, shout out Kiefer Moore. He's done it in every league in England. He's got 2 Premier League goals against arguably one of the best goalkeepers of all time.
Yeah.
So fair play to him.
Yeah. Let's talk quickly about the last 2 games. We've got Brentford versus Wolves and Fulham versus Everton. So Brentford Wolves 1-1, was it, guys? Or
1-1, yeah.
1-1. Yeah.
Diego Costa sent off.
Diego Costa sent
First
off
red
his
card.
first red card
First
in the
red
Premier
card in
League.
the Premier League. Would
Who'd
you
have
have
thought
imagined that?
It's a bit like Marcus Rojo when he played for us. No red cards.
No red cards, yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
It's just madness.
One of those stats that just
Ridiculous.
mind blown.
Blows your mind.
Southampton Palace. 1-0 Palace.
1-0 Palace.
Yeah.
Palace looking good at the minute, man.
Yeah.
They attack with such ferocity.
You know what you're going to get.
Look, they're Vieira's doing a good job there.
Yeah.
I've actually, see with, you were mentioning there Fulham, I've been very impressed with them too.
Fantastic.
The
The recruitment.
They dominated that game. Mitrovic
Oh.
had 10 shots,
It's
which is
mad.
I don't think they'll get relegated either. I think
No.
they play good football as well.
Top
Marco
half of the
Silva,
season. They're in the top half of the table.
Yeah, very
It's good to
impressive.
see Mitrovic doing so well, because
Top
he
good
always
player.
shows. Oh, he's fantastic.
He's had his
he always
critics.
shows it in the championship.
He's had his critics.
Oh, yeah.
And like again, rightfully
Look,
so.
Deservedly.
Right, rightfully so.
He could score 30 odd in the championship and then come up and maybe get 2 in the Premiership.
Yeah.
But finally, he's doing his thing.
Yeah.
And it's good
Discipline
to
as
see.
well.
But
was
do you know why
always a
that
bit-
is? Like, and in all honesty, do you know why that is? It's because Fulham are much better equipped now to deal with the Premier League.
Fully.
They have a manager that's confident in his style of football.
Yeah.
They have the players that can then execute that style of football. You know, I was reading up on João Palhinha the other day, and well, what a signing he has been.
Unbelievable.
How the big 6 clubs missed out on a player like João Palhinha.
An established international with Portugal.
Yeah.
He was a stalwart in their 2016 Euro winning team.
He is second in the Premier League for tackles and recoveries. He is second in the Premier League for passes completed. He is second in the Premier League for dribbles.
That's
That's
incredible.
mad. Underestimated big time too. You don't hear anybody talking about him, do you?
What was it? 18
18
million?
million.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Where was Wolves?
Here, lads, imagine he was English.
Portuguese fellow, where was Wolves?
Mendes was sleeping.
But imagine he was English. Oh, he'd be the best player
yeah,
ever. you know?
exactly.
Yeah,
That's
Exactly.
it. And see, Pereira.
Oh,
I can't believe it.
phenomenal.
Where's this come from?
what's he got? 2
Phenomenal.
goals and 4 assists?
Do you know
Or
what?
2 goals and 5 assists?
You said it to me earlier, though. The whole time he played at Old
Yeah.
Trafford, he was a centre defensive midfielder.
I know.
But you know, maybe if you actually play him in his
In his natural
actual
position. Yeah.
you know, he might actually do something. And so far,
He's
so
probably
good.
just so glad.
Well,
to
look,
get
let's
out.
be real. He was never going to be good enough to play.
No, he wasn't
for
good enough to
us.
play for United.
But fair play to him. He's taking his chance in the Premier League.
Probably feels a bit
Keeps
freer
the
as
ball
well.
better than Bruno.
No, he probably feels a bit more freedom now.
Controversial.
He plays with more freedom now. He can attack.
Look, if you have a guy like Mitrovic in front of you, like,
Good player.
you know you're going to create, like, you're going to
Yeah.
be able to provide that guy with a lot of chances.
Yeah.
And, like, even, like, Willian looks really good at
Yeah.
Fulham as well. Like, I thought Willian was dead and gone. I didn't
Yeah.
know where
He was-
Willian was playing. Or
Well,
who
he's
he was
become the
playing for.
most. He has the as a Brazilian player. He has the most appearances in the Premier League.
That's
That's
crazy.
mad.
What about Fernandinho? No?
No, one more than Fernandinho after this weekend.
He was a very good player, though.
Incredible.
That's
He was a
crazy.
good player at Chelsea now, but at Arsenal he was just.
Yeah, at Arsenal he was terrible, but he seems to be coming into form at Fulham.
Oh, honestly, see against Everton, he was fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic. He looked like the Willian of old. Put the head down, driving at men. Now, look, give Everton their credit, though. They have been defensively
Yeah.
solid this season.
Recruitment fantastic.
Yeah,
Cody and
really,
Tarkovsky.
Really, really good. 2 established Premier League
Yeah.
defenders who are good defenders.
Yeah.
They complement each other very well, actually.
And Cody's always in the England teams.
And deservedly so.
Yeah.
How did Wolves get rid of him? That's the thing.
Doesn't
as
make
well.
sense.
Wolves
To me, it didn't
this
make
season
sense.
look-
Captain and everything as well.
Wolves have been very
They,
poor too.
they got
this
rid of
season.
him because they didn't think he could play in a back 4.
How wrong they were.
What's he doing? He's playing in a back four that's only conceded 12
know.
goals this season. You
I
know,
know.
it's silly decisions like that make you really think, do you know what, I think I could be a Premier League manager.
Well, look, we've run through the fixtures. We're going for Connor Dorman's Player of the Week. Who is it, Connor?
It's a hard one. I was thinking maybe Wilson obviously was unbelievable, but I think I'm going to give it to Reece Nelson. He came off the bench, 2 goals, an assist, unbelievable performance. He's a young player. He'll probably get a chance now because I think Saka's out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
So, no, top player, and we'll see from there. Obviously, Wilson was unbelievable. Cody, boys like that, but I'll give it to Reece Nelson this week.
Brilliant.
Deserved.
So we're going to move on. We're going to talk a bit about fantasy football for the last 10,
Definitely not coming to me, boys.
so.
Definitely not coming to me.
Well, Richie, you're the fantasy expert. You're top of the league.
Top of the table, boys.
What's Richie's pick for fantasy this week?
It's hard. I think a lot of people last week were disappointed that Haaland obviously didn't play.
Yeah.
Looks like he's going to be back in the City setup this weekend. He's not playing midweek, and I would say he's not playing midweek because they want to get him
Back in the fold.
They're ready through as well.
at the weekend.
They're
So
ready through.
I would say to anybody who's thinking of maybe dipping Haaland, no, don't dip Haaland, keep Haaland.
Triple captain.
Fulham
Fulham at home, isn't it?
at home.
Fulham's not bad, but yeah.
No, I don't know about the triple cap this week. Maybe the next time they play Man United, yeah.
Did you have him captain that week against United?
No, Forest, I had him triple capped. So that was a nice
That's not
little
too bad.
57 points or something.
Happy days.
This is why I am the fantasy king. Yeah, so I would say don't discount Haaland. Keep him in your teams. Don't panic. Don't sell. But if I was to bring a player in, it's a toughie, you know. I would say,
I know what you're going to say.
look, for 5 million, can you really look past Miguel Almiron?
Almiron.
That's unbelievable.
I mean, he's doing the business.
12 points for me this week.
Listen, 6 goals in the month of October.
Brilliant.
I think if he doesn't win the Premier League Player of the Month,
Yeah.
it's a scandal.
Yeah.
Um,
And goal of the month.
And goal of the month.
Goal
Yeah. Oh, that goal against Fulham was
Unbelievable.
out of this world.
Yeah.
I would say, yeah, at 5 million, can you really look past Miguel Almiron? I think another underrated one that people might have discounted. Get Rashford in the team. Honestly, Rashford's doing the biz for United at the minute.
6.5 million or so, isn't it?
6.5 million. He's picking up a lot of points. And honestly, anyone from Everton's back four,
Yeah.
they are not leaking goals. And if you haven't got Kieran Trippier in your side at this stage, you're a silly boy. It's as simple as that.
It's a mad year though, Premier League fantasy, because you used to have like Robertson and Arnold,
Yeah.
and they would be 7.5, but
Yeah.
now it's a bit more money to spend.
Well, I need an opinion from you two boys. Who am I going to put in nets? Avid Allison.
Pope.
And he's went and conceded
Pope, I go
twice.
Pope, boys.
Pope.
Top keeper.
Yeah.
Always maybe gets a bonus point as well.
Yeah, Pope's been
True.
really good this year. I actually have...
I had Pope for a long
I had
while.
Sanchez.
Yeah. End up replacing
I had
him.
Sanchez, and every week he conceded.
Yeah.
And then the week I took him out, he kept a clean sheet.
It's always the way, Connor.
Yeah, well,
It's
look,
always the way.
I've had Sanchez from the first week.
Yeah.
And Sanchez, I think, in total has got me like 66 points. That's a lot.
But see, you had him first week. Yeah?
I've had him from
See,
first
I didn't
week,
have the
yeah.
first week, so I didn't get the benefit of
You
that.
didn't
you
get
know,
the
so-
benefit of that. But the last couple of weeks have chopped and changed between him and Danny Ward of Leicester.
He's been very good.
And I have to say, Leicester, he has picked me up quite a few points. There was one week there where I had to do a bit of damage limitation.
Yes,
And it was Brighton against it was Brighton against Man City, I think,
Yeah.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
And I
Oh, you
think
played Danny Ward against
Leicester were playing
Forest, maybe?
Chelsea, was it?
No, I think it was Forest.
Was it?
I think they played Forest at home, and he kept a clean sheet.
Yeah, maybe it
1-0 or
was.
something like that.
Yeah, maybe it was
2-3
actually.
0 maybe. Yeah.
And it was damage limitation. It was like, right, well, I'm not putting Sanchez in because City
Yeah.
are liable to put 6 or 7 past
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
So I think I'll just stick with Ward and hope to God that Leicester maybe get something out of the game.
Yeah.
And right enough, he did score me. I think he maybe scored me 4 or 5 points. So I was happy enough with that.
Brilliant.
Really.
So your pick of the week is Miguel Almiron.
I'm gonna go Miguel Almiron.
Miguel Almiron.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and to finish off, I'm going to give OD's opinion. So, my opinion this week is that Unai Emery will not succeed at Aston Villa.
Boo! Boo!
Mr. Positive here.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to do it, boys.
Come on.
Gotta give the man a chance.
Look, I think he's a phenomenal manager. It doesn't fathom in my head why he has given up Villarreal for Aston Villa. It doesn't make sense to me. He's playing in a European competition. I don't care who you are.
Premier
You're
League,
playing in a
boys.
European competition.
Premier League.
But he's done it before and failed. I know he's got a point to prove. I just don't understand it personally.
Well, I actually don't think he has a point to prove, to be honest. Any manager that wins 11 major honours has nothing to prove to anybody, as far as I'm
I
concerned.
understand that, but why come back to the Premier League then?
Look, it's a challenge. Coming back to the Premier League, it's always a new challenge. It's something exciting. And look, I think Villa have the foundations of a good squad.
Yeah.
I think Villa, like you said earlier, Connor, they're one of the richest clubs in the Premier League.
Yeah.
He will be back.
That's what I'm saying. He just didn't come off a whim. Like, he was obviously told, we're going to back you.
Yeah.
We have aspirations.
Yeah.
Top 8, top 6. This is what Villa fans, that I've seen on Twitter and stuff, they think they can
This
go to
is
that
where
next
they
level.
need to be, yeah. Look,
they
I'm
want to be a
telling
top
you,
club again. Like,
January, Danjuma to Villa. He's ready made. He's coming. Yeah. If that doesn't happen, I'll delete my club. I'll delete my Ultimate Team club.
discard.
I'll discard everybody. No, honestly, Villa is the job. If I was a manager around the world and I'm looking at a project, Newcastle and Villa are the two that really sort of stand out.
But Emery, he rejected Newcastle.
Yeah.
He had that job.
But that was family circumstances at the time.
That's
why he didn't take the
Newcastle job was
at the time.
probably more attractive.
Yeah.
But maybe he's got a second chance and
Look,
he's going to take it.
Villa spend money.
Yeah.
And whatever he asks for, Villa will probably give him.
Yeah.
I just think there's a few players in that squad that definitely need moved on now. I don't know why Tyrone Mings is still playing.
I knew you were going to say
for Aston Villa.
Yeah.
He is terrible. I don't know why John McGinn's still there. He is terrible.
McGinn was playing very well last year, but this year he's been
he's terrible.
awful.
He's terrible. I'm sorry. Like,
He's been
people,
very poor,
people have said, "Oh, McGinn's good." Like, McGinn's not good.
But actually, see when you
terrible is a big word for him though.
See,
He's terrible.
I think Connor's right though, because people just think of last year. Oh, he's good.
Yeah.
If you watch him this season, he's been very, very poor.
Yeah.
He's awful.
Gives away the ball.
But then
lots,
again, have Villa been good?
No, but
The whole team's been poor.
But in saying that,
and he's the captain.
John McGinn's the captain. There's a certain
by example.
Well, do you know what? I can't sit here and talk about captains because ours is a fridge. So I'm not saying anything about captains.
Tyrone Mings was the captain until this season when he was taken off. His captaincy was taken off him and given to John McGinn.
That was a mad.
Was that the right decision?
Yeah, definitely. Look, again, Mings is terrible.
But the thing about Gerrard though, he obviously took that off him thinking
awful footballer.
Yeah, but Gerrard obviously thought, right, I'll take that off Mings, I'll drop him, and I'll get on again. And then suddenly he's back in the team. So what was going on there?
Well, look, Gerrard, last
That's
point.
just mad.
Is Gerrard going to go back to Rangers?
No.
Where does he go from here? Does he manage in the Premier League as his next club?
No.
Does he go to the Championship?
Well,
does he go to the
maybe.
MLS?
I could see Championship. I don't think he's equipped to manage in the Premier League. I've heard a lot of stories on social media these last couple of weeks, especially about the current manager of QPR. Sorry, I can't remember his name. He was actually linked with the Wolves
Bale,
job.
is it?
Is it Bale? Yeah,
He
Bale.
rejected
So
us.
apparently when Bale was the assistant manager at Villa, when Gerrard was the manager, Bale took the training sessions. Bale picked the team. All Gerrard was essentially a face for the media.
Yeah.
So I think Gerrard's really been exposed. Now look, I'm not going to discount what he did with Rangers because he beat a lot of good teams. He got them to a place where they were arguably the best side in Scotland.
Yeah.
But
people would argue that then Van Bronckhorst came in and he took them to the Europa League final.
Yeah.
He took it like a step further. He got them into the Champions League.
Yeah, but
Gerrard never got them in the Champions
yeah,
League.
but look, it's on Gerrard's foundations ultimately.
Yeah.
Like any manager. Look, you could say the same thing about when Tuchel won the Champions League with Chelsea. That was Lampard's team. That was Lampard's foundation.
Yeah, that's true.
And I don't think you can discount in that season
The work that
Gerrard
Lampard
did
did for
Lampard
the
had
Champions
had
League.
done.
Yeah, he did do well. Like
I don't think you can sit there and go, oh, well, Tuchel masterminded the Champions League. Well, no, actually, he had the foundations of an already good squad that was built by Frank Lampard. And to be honest, Lampard again is one of those managers that I'm glad to see.
But he got
doing
another
it
chance.
well, yeah.
But he got another chance.
But I think he's better equipped. I think Lampard is a far better manager than Steven Gerrard. I think he's far better equipped.
Yeah.
His tactical knowledge of the game is far superior to that of Gerrard's in a managerial sense, not when they were players. But I just think that Gerrard's better off going and really learning the trade.
like MLS.
Maybe
I would
championship.
say so.
Like
you
Wayne
know.
Rooney's out of the MLS, or
He's not doing well, to be fair to him. But
well, they were terrible. DC
It's-
United, they were bottom of the league, but
There's too many fast food restaurants, lad. He's distracted.
well, look, guys, will we finish up?
Yeah, I would think so. Listen, thank you very much for listening to the
Thank
first
you.
episode of the Bottom Bins podcast. This will be a weekly podcast.
Yeah.
Well, we hope anyway.
Yeah.
So yeah, thank you for listening. Please leave any comments in the comment section below. You can find us on
Well, it'll be YouTube for the moment.
YouTube for the moment. Yeah.
Hoping to get YouTube, Twitter. We've got a website. We'll be hoping to get onto Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Stitcher. I think it's called.
Stitcher, yeah, I think so.
We'll be hoping to get in them platforms very soon. But for the moment, you can find us on YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah. So thanks very much for listening.
Thank you.
Thanks,
and
guys.
we hope you join us next week.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.